Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Want to see the entire video game industry from start to finish? You've come to the right place. We last left off with Escape from Arcturus for the Apple II. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to 1981, and it's August. Let's see what our next video game is after Escape from Arcturus. Oh, this is so exciting. We are here at the launch for Microsoft DOS, or PC DOS. Before Microsoft got the rights to it, this would be the very first release of MS-DOS. And for the entirety of the channel, Microsoft DOS is going to encompass... It's going to be a little different because you can tell we've done platform by platform. We're playing this game on the Apple II. We're playing this on the Commodore PET. Well, Microsoft DOS or IBM PC compatibles was on lots of different systems. So rather than say we're playing this on the PC Junior or the Tandy 1000 and use the specific hardware, Microsoft DOS is just going to cover every IBM PC compatible game. And that includes everything for Compaq, Hewlett-Packard, Dell, Tandy, everything that's IBM PC compatible, and this is the very first one. So welcome to the launch of Microsoft DOS. And this is Donkey, which is the game that was included when you bought Microsoft DOS back in 1981. So do we have anything involving Donkey? It looks like it's just this. No, it's just a screenshot with a donkey and the title screen. That's all we have for Donkey. And so any other versions? We're going to play one on a really cool emulator that's called DOSBox Pure. And so here we go. This is our first time. It is August 12th, 1981, and this is the launch of Microsoft DOS with Donkey, the IBM personal computer. So now IBM has entered the realm of computing. We've already seen Commodore in the works, Apple, and a few other companies like Tandy. So this is the first time IBM has taken the whole personal computer space and decided we want to be involved. And this is where things start to get even bigger if they weren't already bigger before, where we get an explosion of developers and games that start getting pushed out across different platforms. And this is where we start seeing hardware change. When we saw the Apple computer, or the trinity of computers that hit off, Apple II, Commodore PET, and the TRS-80, those three computers did have updates and model changes, RAM expansions, and so forth. Like we saw when Atari released their home computer, they had the 400 or 800 version. And now with IBM, we start seeing small nuances with exchanging RAM, hard drive space, and then processing power. So here we go. This is the very first game you could play. This is Donkey. Press the space bar to continue, it says, or escape to quit. And I've died already. Oh, I'm getting smashed by donkeys, but it looks like space bar is to switch lanes. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. I push space bar and I switch lanes, and then escape is to exit. And I switch lanes into the donkey. All it is that's it. This is the entire game. And it looks like the donkey is winning because I'm the driver and I have 0 score. But it looks like Donkey 4, driver 0. Very simple controls. I'm literally just hitting the space bar to move back and forth. I wouldn't even technically call this a racing game. It's more of a reflex game. Oh, I got 1 point. Yes. But there is no movement. I'm not using a controller. It's just the keyboard, and this is it. We're playing Donkey. It almost feels like it should be a Nintendo Game & Watch game or a handheld LCD game. It's so simple. It is the simplest home computer game we've ever played. Probably the simplest video game we played. It'd be the same as a handheld game. Wow. Okay, so for that one, that is downright bad. I would say even for the time of all the other games we played, is it broken? It's close. It's pretty close to a broken game. It is the very first game on Microsoft DOS, so yes, it reminds me of an LCD game that you play just pushing one button to switch back and forth. So for the launch of Microsoft DOS, with the game that came included, not really off to the best start. We know where DOS is going to go, though. So for this one, I'm going to go for 1 star. It's not something that's like keeping us from playing. It is a game, but very simplified. So 1 star for the very first Microsoft DOS game. All right, so let's see what our next release is after Microsoft DOS. Oh, here we go. The other game that you could have purchased. So you just bought Microsoft DOS for your IBM PC, and you can also buy Microsoft Adventure. Let's take a look at the artwork for Microsoft Adventure. The front of the box looks like someone took a picture of the lizard in their house and then added wings to it. But bizarre artwork. Yeah, it looks like a cave, man at the bottom, like Colossal Cave Adventure, possibly. And there they go, back of the box. You're standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. There is a shiny brass lamp nearby. Wait a second, that sounds a lot like Colossal Cave Adventure. It's got to be. Yes, it's Colossal Cave, the first complete version of Adventure ever implemented on personal computers. As you prove yourself sufficiently skilled in overcoming obstacles, more sections of the cave will become open to you. Proceed, explore the cavern, and collect your treasures. But watch out, killer dwarves, green snakes, active volcanoes. Nice. Each Microsoft Adventure session is unique with over 400 messages and descriptions that can be combined in endless ways. Never before has the sophisticated fantasy logic game written for the PDP-10 been totally implemented on personal computers. So they're basically boasting that this is the first complete Colossal Cave Adventure you could play on your home computer. I don't know if I'd argue that Microsoft Adventure was the very first one. We've seen a couple that are really close. But very interesting that this was the only other thing you could buy at the time for Microsoft DOS. And there we go, for 5 1/4 floppy disk, Microsoft Adventure. Copyright 1981. IBM. We're here. We finally got IBM computers. And it's just full-on text adventure game. And then for this one, oh, this is so cool. So we do have the manual for it, the original Microsoft IBM Personal Computer Adventure Manual. And it has all information about the license. Don't care about that. Implemented by Gordon Letwin. Way to go, Gordon. Yeah, first edition. This is June 1981, which was when the manual was made. And it's possible this was available before the release of Microsoft DOS, but we're playing it because it was the first thing you could play on a Microsoft computer besides Donkey or besides MS-DOS. All right, so let's see. We got how to play the game, the challenge of Microsoft Adventure. Originally written in Fortran, yes, for mainframe computers. And this one we got to run on 32K memory on a single diskette drive. Impressive for the time. All right, so Microsoft Adventure has over 130 rooms, 15 treasures, 40 useful objects, 12 obstacles of varying difficulty. Your goal as adventurer is to find the cave, explore it, locate the treasures, and return them before you run out of lamplight or get killed. And that is the classic adventure, Colossal Cave. So it says you need to have the right hardware. Check this out. 32K of user's memory, video monitor, single diskette drive, a disk drive for your IBM PC. So we got also caring for your Microsoft disk. There we go. Yes. The felt tip only, grasp at the corner, and when not in use, make sure you put it in that sleeve. I never kept any of my sleeves, so it was great hearing Chris Alimo has a hobby of collecting the disc sleeves because I never kept any of mine. And apparently when it's not in use, IBM recommends you put it in that sleeve. Yep, no pencils, clips, ballpoints, don't bend it. No, don't touch the disc, no magnets, and no cleaning the disc. All right, so they boast it's an extremely sophisticated game which includes more than 64,000 cave descriptions and user messages. Incredible. And then how to back up your disk, how to load Microsoft Adventure, which we're going to get a lot easier to load, so we won't need to follow those instructions. Back in the day, though, you would refer to the manual. You would need that to help you load the game. So after you get started, you ask which cave image you're going to use, and then the computer will say, "Welcome to Adventure. Would you like instructions?" Oh, the game itself gives us instructions, so that's nice. That means we'll refer to the manual if we need to for help. This is the very first Microsoft Adventure. All right, so for different versions, we also have hints for the advanced game. Oh, we have the tips and solutions, and we have the full map. No way. Okay, so yeah, we have mapping out the cave. We actually have a hint guide for all the different rooms in Microsoft Adventure. That's awesome. And we also have a map, which looks like it is, yeah, it is a grid like map that someone has created with all the passageways. Nice. So you could actually follow your way around with that map. And then finally, we also have the tips and solutions page for the original adventure, Colossal Cave. Nice. This would be the very first example on the channel of a strategy guide for a video game. that we've ever seen. And we had a little help with Adventure on the Atari 2600, but that was a modern map. This was tips and tricks. This is copyright 1983, which is a couple years after where we are, but still, this is the very first strategy guide for any video game we've seen on the channel right here. Unless you want to count something we've seen in the magazines. They have given us some help. But yeah, we have everything about the game all in one place. That's awesome. So cool. Okay, so for this one, we're going to install, it's going to go a little quicker. So it's still the launch of Microsoft DOS. It's August 12th, 1981. And for this one, we're going to boot up and play after the installation of it. There we go. All right, so for this one, looks like it's switched up the graphics for us instead of going full screen. So let me see if we can change that. Trying it a different way. Let's do an uninstall and see if we can install it back with the correct graphics, or at least full screen. All right, so going again, it's going to say, do you want to install? Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Would you like to change graphics filter? No. And then now we can boot it up, and let's see if this runs the correct way on Microsoft DOS. All right, looks like we're stuck with this one in the meantime. All right, so it says for IBM personal computer, copyright 1981. Which cave image do you want? And we'll just do enter to do the first one. So there you go, Microsoft Adventure for the IBM personal computer. Unauthorized duplication prohibited. Welcome to Adventure. Would you like instructions? Yes. Somewhere nearby is Colossal Cave, where others have found fortunes in treasure and gold. Though it is rumored that some who enter have never seen again, magic is said to work in the cave. I will be your eyes and hands. Direct me with commands of 1 or 2 words, so we got a 2-word text parser. I should warn you that I look at only the first 4 letters of each word, so you'll never have to enter northeast as NE to distinguish it from north. Should you get stuck, type help for some general hints, and finally we can do help. We've tried doing that in other text parsers, but they didn't understand. For information on how to end your adventure, type info, and this is the complete version of the original MIT adventure. So for all the ones we played Scott Adams adventure games, we played Online Systems adventure games. Some have been close to Colossal Cave Adventure. This one is the one they claim is the first full MIT adventure that you can have play on your home computer. You're standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. All right, so if we go, let's look stream. Which way is the stream headed? You're standing at the end of the road, a small brick building, blah, blah, blah. Around you is a forest, small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. What if we go north? You're in an open forest with a deep valley on one side. If we continue going north, we're still in an open forest and a valley and a road. If we keep going north, we're at the end of the road again. And if we go north, we're in the forest. And then it looks like we keep going, you know, if we keep selecting the same direction, then it's going to go north every single time. It's possible it is, and so I actually know how to fix it, just I wouldn't be able to do it on the live stream. But for every other Microsoft DOS game, they'll be all set. All right, so it looks like we're at the end of the road. Let's try going east. There's some keys on the ground here. There's a shiny brass lamp nearby. There's food here. There's a bottle of water here. So this looks like we're at the beginning of the cave, possibly. So if we say get lamp, it says, okay, we got the lamp. And if we say get key, we got the key or keys. Can we say get key again? Okay, there's only a set of keys, I guess, on a ring. And there's food here and there's a bottle of water here. So get bottle. Got it. And get lamp. And you're inside the building, a well house for a large spring. So that's where we are now. If we look again, yeah, we're still inside the building. So if we try to go east again, we're inside the building, but there's food here, so we can say get food. Got it. All right, so let's look again, and this would be the very first example of the channel of the original way to play any text adventure game. Colossal Cave Adventure. Some would argue that before Colossal Cave Adventure, there was other adventure games that were the not teletype, the print out adventure games, where they're actually just printing out the direction. So right now, the printing is happening on the screen in front of us. But before there was even displays or user interface, the mainframe computers would have printouts, and they would print out the information. So people have claimed that there's other adventure games before Colossal Cave that had printing out the answers for everything. So this would be the first time on the channel that we played the most classic text adventure game you could play. And I'm actually a little more familiar with the controls. Like, we can type help and info, and that's what I was trying on the Scott Adams adventure games or the venture games and the online systems games, and it wasn't working because I was used to the very first original adventure game. Oh, maybe if there's different objects here, but it looks like we got everything. Because if I say get, or if I say look, let's try look food. Yeah, there's no more food or specific ones around, but if I try to do different objects, it may work correctly. It does say there's only a 2-word text parser, though. So maybe not adjectives like we saw with Curse of Crowley Manor. So while this is saying it's the whole Colossal Cave Adventure, you can see we don't have any graphics. It's not a graphic adventure game. We also don't have anything that's doing anything flashy as far as what it can understand, like we saw in the last adventure game. But, oh, I bet we can do that too. Let's try it. Oh, no, examine food didn't work. What about inventory? I type in INV and it says, you don't understand that. Are you trying to find the cave? I can say, yeah. I'm prepared to offer you a hint, but it will cost you points. Oh, that's so cool. Do you want the hint? Yeah, sure, we'll take a hint. I don't know where the cave is, but hereabouts no stream can run on the surface for long. I would try following the stream. So there we go. We lost some of the points in the game, but it did give us a hint of where to go. So look stream. I think we can't because we're inside the building. If we try to go west, what happens? So we're at the end of the road again. Looks like we walked all the way to the end of the road, got inside of a building at the end, and now we want to continue. I want to keep going west. We walked up a hill, still at the forest. The road slopes back down the other side of the hill. There's a building in the distance. Let's try west again. There's no way to go in that direction. You're at the hill in the road. Okay, so we'll go south. Now we're in the forest, And you can see here, I'm just commanding the game to go different directions, to see different places. And it is sprawling and open, like we saw in Cranston Manor. But it is helpful to draw a map. And that's what you did in 1981 when you played these kind of games. All right, so let's try east. There we go. In the forest beside a stream tumbling along the rocky road. So if we go east again. No, let's go back west. Oh, okay. It's changing my direction. Every time I go in a certain spot, it's changing the cardinal directions. Oh, INV. Let's try that one. Sure. Yeah, there we go. You got it. Thanks, L. Curtis B. Set of keys, brass lantern, tasty food, small bottle, and water in the bottle. So I can drink it right now, right? Drink water. The bottle of water is now empty. Eat food. Thank you. It was delicious. So from the other text adventure games we played at the time, this one's kind of interesting because we've seen the first Zork on the TRS-80. Zork had not just an adventure like this, but it was a two-word text parser that understood adjectives and even understood a few sentences whenever we played Zork. So Zork would be the same standard text adventure game, but it actually would it would be a better text adventure game than this one. This is the first one we played on IBM PC, but still, it's interesting that that this one's next because I would have considered the original Colossal Cave for a home computer to come out earlier than Zork or the other ones we've seen so far. All right, so that's all we'll check out for Microsoft Adventure. Too cool. So for the time, that one is interesting. From everything we've seen, it's great that we have all the info to play the game. It's not up there with Curse of Crowley Manor, but it's still very good that they got the entire original Colossal Cave that we could play. That's a good point because we're playing this on we're actually playing this on any system that could do IBM or PC compatible. So for the time, you would have to have a computer that was pretty beefy, and obviously you saw in the emulation we were going really fast. It understood the commands really quick, and the other systems we played on, sometimes we played text adventure games, and the parser would take a little bit of time or wait. So We'll just pretend we're playing on the really fast computer from 1981. But for the time, though, this one is tricky because I couldn't give it as high as Zork or Crowley Manor, but it's still very good for the time. I'm thinking 3.5 or 4 stars because it's still a good release. It's not average, but I'll do 3.5. So it's above average from everything else we've seen up to this point on the channel. And that's true. We are playing off of disc. A lot of the games we've been playing on the home computer space has been cassette tapes. Yeah, very good point. 256K on the IBM PC, yes. All right, so after Microsoft Adventure. So cool. So the era of Microsoft DOS is here. What is our next game? Oh, cool. Okay, so this is Missile Command. We went from one home computer to another, and this is on the Atari home computer. We've been waiting for this one because we saw Missile Command released for the Atari 2600, and then soon after we got Missile Command for the home computer. Let's take a look at the artwork for Missile Command for our home computer. The Atari 400 or 800. They're using a very similar artwork than we saw on the 2600. I would argue this one's pretty cool. This one looks like the end times. Nuclear explosion in the background, and we're working the command console to send the missiles out to protect us. That's awesome. And then back of the box shows the 2 different computers, Atari 400 or 800. This one we're going to be playing on is cartridge, which arguably I would say is the better way to go rather than disc or cassette. The ROM reads so much better, which is why we see on the console space the games boot up and play instantly. Not a lot of hassle there. Loving the artwork for it, though. So cool. And there it is, the cartridge for your Atari home computer. This one is totally different architecture than the 2600. And I believe we saw in one of the magazines, Atari said, do not take your Atari 2600 cartridge and put it in your home computer. It will fry, I think it'll fry some of the transistors on it. And you can even play this with the Atari joystick controller. Oh, and there we go. We also have the 5.25 floppy disk example for us. And there, a nice blown up artwork of Missile Command. So exciting. An example of the screenshot. We even have a manual for this one. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so the manual for Missile Command for the Atari computer. So keep in mind, this is a lot more powerful than the Atari home console. The Atari home computer is essentially like the Atari 5200, the next home console. You are the Missile Base Commander. As Missile Base Commander, you occupy the hot seat in missile control. For weeks now, satellite surveillance has been sending you photographs showing unusual arms building up in launch base activity in enemy territory. Today, the analysts assure you the enemy is battle-ready posture. Could they be mistaken? This is awesome. They're putting a story in for Missile Command. Now, we saw on the console version, they had a little quick paragraph for us, but look at this. This is like true form in the home computer world. Let's give them a really good story. So yeah, it's a full written out story for Missile Command. That's awesome. Red alert, red alert. Stand by, ready to launch. Enemy on the monitor screen, fire. That is so cool. Love it. So we have how to play Missile Command, loading, joystick control, starting the game, game options, pause and reset. And then we're just going to scroll through a few of the options the manual has for us. Your mission is to defend the cities. Enemy attacks in waves, and it even explains the different types of attacks that you're going to see. And then an example of what you see on the screen, what the MIRV looks like, the ICBM, killer satellite, smart missile, ABM missile base, and then the cities at the bottom you're protecting. So it's doing the same formula as the home console. There's one base in the middle, and then you're firing from that one place instead of the arcade, which had 3, and you selected from the 3 different ones. Yeah, so same one, and then it shows you at the end how many you saved and how many ABMs you had left. And then, of course, the end, whenever you die. Number of players can be played with 1 or 2. Single player, 2-player is to score more points than your opponent. So I think it's not simultaneous, but we'll try 2 controllers just to see. Be really cool if it was simultaneous on the home computer world. To play Missile Command, you need the following components. You need a computer, and you need your cartridge, and there it is, the 2 Atari controllers. I think it's so cool. You can take the same controller and plug it into your computer. So you turn on your TV set, you adjust everything, and then for single-player game, you connect a joystick and push start. And then 2-player, you got to have the 2 joysticks. They explain the joystick moves and how it goes around. You find you have more control, hold the joystick in both hands. Thank you so much for the info. To start a game, Missile Command is already set up for one player. And you just push start to play one player. Are there different game modes, though, like we see on the console? Doesn't look like it. No, it's only just playing. So to play two players, you just push select and it's a two-player game. Let's see. Yeah, so it's just two players and no way, there's no variations on the home computer. Let's see. Yeah, it has skipping waves. Oh, okay. So you could, if you wanted to, skip and go to a different wave of attack if you wanted to. I guess you could consider that options, but not really. Not like we saw on the home computer. And then we also have no bonus cities. So there's a few options, but not like we see on the console. Okay, so pause, reset, start a new game. Looks good. And then, oh, it even has talking about your defense system. Sweet, that's awesome. Yeah, showing you radar line for that one. And then scoring, all the point system. Wow, lots of details on the points. Yeah, what you get for bonus cities. And then, oh, nice, just like with the home console. They give us game tips in the manual for how to play the game. That's awesome. All you got to do is lead the shot and you'll be good. So cool. Okay, so for different versions, we have the original US version, some alternates. We're going to play the first one. It is August 15th, 1981, and this is Missile Command for your Atari home computer. Yes. Awesome. Okay, here we go. So this is it. This is Missile Command. Just because I want to see what two players like. Let's see two-player, and I'm going to plug in a second controller, and I want to see if it's alternating or simultaneous play. And it looks like it is alternating. Okay, so we don't have two cursors on the screen at once. Yeah, it looks like we have to take your turns, let your younger brother, sister play after you. Is it after every death? It looks like, no, that's pretty good. Okay, so after one person goes, then the second player gets to jump in. So this is now two-player taking over. So you don't have to wait until they die. The second player then plays next. Okay, so let me just do a reset. Let's go back to one player. Just wanted to see if it was simultaneous, because any game that's simultaneous, allowing the two cursors to play this at once, would have been amazing. So now we're back on one-player mode. Already, graphics are a slight nudge above Atari 2600, but only slightly. I do got to give it to the play control. It's not using a dash like it did. It's got a little cursor on the screen. And it is not using a trackball. It's using the Atari joystick, which I thought was a better option, because otherwise you'd need two different the paddles to do the XY coordinates, and it wouldn't have worked so well. But I mean, look at this. This looks and plays so good. Yeah, this is great. We've only seen one other example of someone trying to port Missile Command home. It wasn't done very well, but it's been really close since we saw Missile Command. I think it was just last year, and so now to see this where you could play at home at this quality is amazing. If you tuned in for the Atari 2600 episode, we gave that one 5 stars because from all the other games you could have played on your home console, that was number one, or one of the best ones you could play. It was up there with Space Invaders. And this one, I'd say, is another one that how well this plays, and considering all the other games we've seen on the home computer, this is excellent. If I did have an argument, though, it would be it's on a single screen. It's not moving like we saw with the Eliminator or the Escape from Arcturus. But how well it plays and sound is awesome. There we go. Got to lead that shot. So cool. So if you're just tuning in, we're playing every video game, and we're currently in 1981 playing a Missile Command for your Atari home computer. We've already seen it released for the Atari 2600, and now it's come to the computer space. Oh, I can't believe I didn't get that one. Nice. Yeah, this plays so well. I'm hoping we can see on the channel, it's not just really based on graphics. It's going to be how well the game plays. And, oh, they're going to miss me on that one. Because even if a game doesn't have the best graphics, the play control, if the play control's up there and it's still fun to play, then I would say that would be the better game. Or programmed as well as it could for the time. There we go. Nice. Another thing that's really interesting about this game is it plays kind of similar to the home console version. I know the cursor looks different, but it's the same play control. And it looks like they switched it up a little bit. We're going through different waves now. Oh yeah, they're really cranking up the heat on us. Oh no, and they blew up our base. Wow, that was fast. That came on so quick. Yeah, I'm with you. How fun is the more important one. The end. Love it. All right, so for Missile Command, that is up there again with one of the best games you could play at the time. For the home computer. The only nod I would say or tip below is just it takes place on one screen. But for all of those that are fans of Missile Command, this would have been a dream to be able to bring this home and play this at home. And if you remember, we talked about a trade show where this was displayed as one of the newest, coolest games that you could play at the time. I wouldn't even say that this is comparable to the Atari 2600 because there was other game modes for the home console. But we're still going to go for a 5-star rating on this one. To play this at home so soon after it was released in the arcades is amazing. So Missile Command, one of the best games you could play for your home computer in 1981. Whatever could be after that. Let's move on to our next game. And this is Galactic Saga 4, Tawala's Last Redoubt for your Apple II. And if I remember correctly, this would be part 4 of the trilogy Galactic Saga we saw before. There we go, A Tale of the Galactic Saga by Broderbund. Yes, so this is part 4. And if you tuned in for the Galactic Saga episode, it was a trilogy of games I wasn't familiar with before I did the channel. It is a massive, massive game involving galactic conquest. And I actually thought Elite was one of the first, let's explore the galaxy and different planets and mine for resources and so forth. No, Elite is not. Galactic Saga was actually one of the first ones, if you don't count the mainframe games. So this is the 4th one after that trilogy that we saw. And there's the example of the 5 1/4 floppy disk. Tawala's Last Redoubt for our Apple II Plus. Oh, all 4 of these? Yeah, I would love to know if anybody has any of the manuals, because I've heard, but I haven't found all of the manuals. For the original trilogy, I heard there's like hundreds and hundreds of pages of lore and information that Broderbund put into this game. It is incredible. All right, so this is part 4. We actually have a manual for this one. Yes, A Tale of Galactic Saga. So part 4 of the Galactic Saga 1981. Let's see, we do have a story. How much story do they go into? Because I heard it's massive. This is the 4th tale of the Galactic Saga. The first 3 episodes trace the early life of Julian de Buc de Sparta, starting with his appointment as commander of the armed forces of Tawala Mundo, emperor of the small world of Galactica. Whenever we read this lore, or any game that has lore or story, you have to ask yourself, is it really something you want to be interested in? Because these games that start giving backstory and lore, if it's something that you're not familiar with or care about or want to invest your time in, then it really takes away from the experience of wanting to play the game. And we're going to see as the 80s continue, there's so many different companies that are going to make brand new games with a whole new IP and lore and story behind their game. And it starts being picked up by other people. And that same lore or story gets carried on until today. We have games that are still following some of the story and lore that started in the 80s just because people are familiar with it and care about it. In the same way that when people play World of Warcraft that have been playing so long for an MMORPG, it's because they care about the lore and story so much that it's something that they want to stick with and stay with. But this is now the beginning. We're in the wild west of video games. So anything goes. And we're going to see so much. And so this is another example of very deep lore for a video game. You can see us going through, oh man, how many pages is this? Okay, it wasn't as many as I thought. Yeah, that's a good point. In the chat, I just saw Ultima. Yeah, we haven't even seen Ultima yet. We saw a Calibeth, but that story carries on and on until they go online where people can play. All right, so the game. How quickly do you wish time to pass on Tawala's Redoubt? The answer is the set speed of the clock that controls all activities of the game. After you determine the time, then you select your game speed, do a new game, and then press R for a new... Okay, settle down for a fairly long wait. Uh-oh. The disc will whir and clack for a while. Stop to do some computations, play a little ditty, just so you know it hasn't gone to sleep. Or play your Atari home console while you're waiting. Your location camp is displayed in the upper left, right hand in the corner. The time and date appears in the upper right corner. The three controls appear in the lower right. They are messenger, intelligence, and orders. The right parentheses indicates that each of these functions can be called by typing only the first letter of the word. This is called the master menu from now on. Before settling into this discussion of the control functions, there's lots of things you have to know about the program. There's lots of things going on that you don't control. The fiendish usurper, also known as Prince Tawala, will soon start sending out raiding parties from his stronghold. If you leave the computer at this point and go have dinner, you're likely to find the game over by the time you return, which means this is a real-time strategy game. If you just sit and wait, the game is going to continue to play itself and the enemy will take over. That's a big plus. Well, we're not going to really see it acting out in front of us. You know, there's no animation or anything like that. But it's actively, things are happening behind the scenes, which is kind of cool. Second, you can alter the speed of the clock on the screen. It gives real life. If you're stuck with whatever time sense your metabolism gives you, you may find that most events consist of 9 parts unremitting boredom to 1 part terror, pleasure, or hope. The computer allows you to step outside these real-life constraints. Typing any number while the master menus on the screen will change the clock speed. For example, if you're very anxious to witness your own demise, press 9 and sit back. Maybe we'll do that. The hours will roll away in no time at all. Benthi will become a footnote in Farsight history books, and I guess we're playing as Benthi. There aren't many sound effects in the game, but some people prefer to suppress clock ticks, especially when the game's played at high speeds. You can press Control and Q to suppress them. Okay, so if the sound gets bad, we can do that. That's nice. You can also how to quit the game. You check into the tour of the control keys. So it talks about the master menu, and oh my gosh, if you look over on the side, this is a massive manual to explain this game, and it wouldn't surprise me because the Galactic Saga is a giant game. Back whenever we saw this in I can't remember if it was 78 or 79, we gave it 5 stars because of the breadth of how large the game is. So you can see here we have different orders we can give. We'll refer back to the manual if we need to, but like always on the channel, we're going to give a taste of the game. And if anything makes us want to play longer, we'll obviously give it a higher score. But to tell you the truth, after we do the live stream, I come back and I'll play some of the really good ones again and longer because if it's something I've never seen before or tried myself, doing these little snippets, it sometimes isn't enough, and I want to do a little bit more. All right, so after that, let's pop it in. It's August 15th, 1981, and this is the 4th part of the Galactic Saga, Tawala's Redoubt. Yeah, my metabolism, right? Not the game's metabolism. All right, so how quickly do you wish time to pass? We'll start with the default. We'll pick 3. Looks like, yeah, no joystick on the Apple II is plugged in. So we'll do new game. Kind of cool they give us the option where we don't push number 1. We can actually just push enter. There you go. We got an awesome title screen. And this is where it says the program is loading. And if we want, we can go twiddle our thumbs or sing a ditty, is what it said in the manual. We might need to fast forward this one. Oh, okay. It actually went pretty quick. I thought it was going to be a lot longer. They warned us, but we are playing on disc on an enhanced Apple II. And there's the camp they told us about. Nice graphics for the time. So you can see the time is ticking in the top right, and it looks like it's giving us Decatur 12th, which it might be a made-up date on their calendar. But we have different options: messenger, intelligence, and orders. So if we do M for messenger, we can ask which one we want. Let's see what Juma's up to. Oh, that's pretty cool. No way. A person actually showed up and said, I thought it was going to be nothing but this solid screen. Okay, so we take this message to, we'll say, Chief. Or I said, so he's going to go deliver the message to someone else. And we also have intelligence. And the time is ticking. It's going by right now. We can look at the map. And it's loading the map up. There it is, the map of the game that we're playing in. They have Hollywood. Okay. Yanis, Anaxis, Koku. And we can refer to the manual. And from what I've read, the Galactic Saga has lots of information on all these places. This looks like it's taking place on one planet. And the trilogy, it was taking place in a galaxy. So cool. All right, so we also have dossiers, geographical, and then send an agent. Let's just go back to orders. Let's try to do something. Okay, let's do troop movement. And all I'm having to do is type the one key in front, which is kind of cool. Where shall we go? Let's go to Hollywood. How many men will we send? I didn't see how many we have. Let's try 5. All right, there we go. So our orders. Let's loot and pillage with our 5 people in Hollywood. So it says stay on station, return to base, or move. Oh, and when we're finished, do we stay, return? Let's try stay. So we just sent them out. So if we go to intelligence and go to map, does it show that our people are headed there? Does it have a graphic of it? It looks like we have, okay, it's showing us down at the bottom how many people we have and then some various stats. But it looks like I'm not seeing like troop movement, but I wasn't expecting animation. It is a lot about making decisions and strategy. It's pretty impressive that already in 1981, people were very familiar with Risk and board games and the mainframe computers playing strategy games, and we're already to a point where people are going beyond what you could play with Risk or for games on a mainframe computer. The only thing we haven't seen yet is like online games that mainframe computers are doing now in 1981, but the home computer space is really close to getting there. All right, so that's really cool. Definitely want to check that out. A very advanced strategy game. So for the time, that one is way up there with the games you could play. The presentation is also really good, giving little bits of animation here and there. And if we played longer and saw more, I'm just hopeful that and know that we're going to see something really cool and be able to get in the groove of how to move our troops around and make decisions in the game. So for strategy, man, see, if I played more, I'd know for sure if this really was the best strategy game you could play at the time. But it's up there. I was going to go 4.5 stars. I can go 5 if I knew for sure if this was the best one you could play, then I do that. But we'll go 4.5. This is, if you want to play a strategy game, this is one of the best ones you could play. All right, so after Galactic Saga, the 4th part, what is our next game? All right, our next game is also for the Apple II. This is Gobbler. And this is by Sierra Online. Or Online Systems. Let's take a look at the artwork for it. There you go. Got a really poor box art. But yeah, Online Systems. Gobbler, which is a Pac-Man clone for your home computer. Gobbler for the Apple II. Yes, there we go. We can play some Pac-Man or Gobbler for the Apple II. No manual for this one, so let's just pop it in and see. It's August 15th, 1981, and we're playing Gobbler for the Apple II. What it will be like. First, I want to know, does it work with the Apple joystick? Yes, Online Systems. This would be, I think, the 2nd or 3rd home way you could play Pac-Man for a computer, at least. It hasn't been on a console yet. We've seen only home computers. Oh, this is a total ripoff. It even looks exactly like Pac-Man and the Ghost look like Pac-Man. All right, so, oh, it's doing the track mode like it's an arcade game. Yeah, I'm not controlling any of this, but it's showing us kind of how the game works and what it's like to play. Let's see if we want to boot it up and go. Does the Apple joystick do anything? No, we may not get Apple joystick controls. Darn. All right, everyone, quick, guess what game this is. Let's see, does it go? Okay, spacebar, I guess, works. Does the Apple joystick... Oh, yeah, it looks like we get no Apple joystick, so we have to use controls on the keyboards. Yeah, there you go, left. So, very bizarre, though, for the time. When you're playing left and right work, which is what we've seen for the Apple, but when you want to go up and down is A and Z. So, controls are not totally ideal, and it looks like the AI for the Ghost is out there. It's a little weird. Yeah, they're kind of doing their own thing. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of intelligence on the Ghosts. But, I mean, look at this. The graphics look good for a Pac-Man game that you could play on your own. The controls, though, are so weird, using left, right, and then A and Z to move up and down. They're not all in the same place. Yeah, and the Ghosts are just making erratic movements. It doesn't look like they have a rhyme or reason for what they're doing. But the maze variation is different, which is kind of cool. Oh, it got me again. And was that it? Is that the game over? Yeah, it looks like it's on a track mode now. So it plays by itself, kind of like an arcade game, and it's giving the impression like we are playing Pac-Man on the computer, but it's really not as sophisticated as Pac-Man. Well, obviously, it doesn't look exactly like it, but it's pretty close for the time. Oh, really? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because was it the original or the Apple IIe? Because I know with so many keyboards we play on the channel, we even play some keyboards that are not even in America. And so whenever I'm playing these, I have to remember, oh, we're playing on a totally different layout. Not something crazy like a ZERTY, but the keyboard layout's always going to be different when we go from game to game all over the world. And I know there's different models of the Apple II as well. We're so used to modern Mac computers or PC computers, but back then there's so many different types. Wait a second, now how do I get the... Oh, okay, the fruit and cherries were enticing me. I wanted to see if I could go in those rooms, but you can't. That's too bad. Yeah, we're going to see the evolution of the computer space change. Now, while I'm not showing you the controls themselves whenever you play them, it does help. It would just be impossible to do that. And one of the reasons that makes this channel kind of cool is we're playing game by game, almost like ADD gaming. But to go from a certain joystick for one console and then go to a different keyboard for another console and back and forth with physical hardware would be impossible. That's why I'm hoping this kind of catches on as a cool thing to do and fun to see, just going game by game in order to see how the games change over time. All right, let's try this way. What will happen? Thank you for playing Gobbler. All right, so that was Gobbler. For the time, it's pretty good. Now, graphically, it's got it. And I can't really fault the play control because the keyboard itself was how it was designed, or pretty close to how it was designed. So, yeah, I would be disappointed in the AI, but the novelty of playing Pac-Man like this at home is up there. Considering we haven't seen anything on the console space, and actually it's 81. We're supposed to see Mrs. Pac-Man at some point coming up. So for playing this, it's going to be above average, but not a whole lot above average, because how long you could play this would wane. I couldn't see myself playing this over and over again, but we'll do above average, 3.5 stars for Gobbler. Great attempt at a home way to play Pac-Man. All right, so after Gobbler, what is our next game? Oh, here it is, Gorgon. Another Defender clone, the same year the Defender came out. That's incredible. That's how big Defender was. All right, let's take a look at the artwork for Gorgon. Yes. What an awesome front of the box. And back of the box, oh, this is programmed by Nasir Gabelli. Nice. Game art drawn by Easy Draw. Assembly language. Requires Apple II or Apple II Plus. Yes, and it looks like we can do the rescuing of people, which we couldn't do in the Eliminator. Very cool. And there we go, the example of the 5 1/4 floppy disk for Gorgon. Serious Software. We've seen a lot of good stuff already by Nasir Gabelli, and that's not the end. We're going to see a lot more. There's some examples of screenshots. For different versions, looks like... okay, we just have 2 different dumps of it. All right, here we go. This is August 15th, 1981, and we're playing Gorgon for the Apple II. Let's see what it's like. Crazy boot up screen, but it's kind of showing you how many graphics are going to be there. Oh, no title. Are we in? I'm surprised. Wait a second. There's no Atari joystick? I mean, Apple joystick plugged in? Yeah, Apple joystick does not respond on this one. Oh, and I'm about to get blown up in silence. I didn't hear any sound for that one. Oh, wow. You think I have game over? I'm not sure. All right, let's try it again. So we have, okay, it looks like keyboard is controlling us. Got it. We have the radar at the top. That's pretty cool. Spacebar is our fire. And you can shoot the people just like you did in the arcade mode. That's awesome. Oh, nice. Got me. Yeah, I'm doing the keyboard. It looks like that was the only one that I could control with. I have paddles I could use and the Apple joystick, but nope, don't got them. All right, let's try for full speed. How fast does this thing scroll? And that's as fast as I can go, but pretty impressive with the stars in the background. Giving a slight parallax feel, almost parallax. And the radar at the top's really nice. Obviously doing what Defender did. It's not displaying as much, though, or not as hectic, but it is better than the Eliminator. I'll give it that one. And we're getting to even rescue... Oh, got me. Okay, we do get the explosion of us dying. I didn't think we would. Alright, I want to see if he picks them up, if we can rescue... Oh, no. Or just run into him and do a suicide mission. Cool sound effects for the time, though. Love it. Yeah, the keyboard control is a little tricky to get used to, but just having to factor in that it was played on a keyboard that it would be a little easier to go up, down, left, and right on. And like usual, going game to game, back to back like this, it does take a little bit of a learning curve to switch out what system you're playing on and then get used to the controls. Oh, and this one's dropping mines at us. No, go away. Oh, I can't believe he dodged that one. That's crazy. Right, I want to see if he picks it up. I want to see if I can rescue this guy. Oh, we can't. Get it. What? I tried my best, but I couldn't rescue him. It looked like some of the lasers were passing through him there. Alright, here we go. Let's try it again. Oh man, he dropped way too fast. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm very surprised though. The Eliminator we could control with the joystick. Same thing for Rescue at Arcturus, which wasn't a Defender clone, but it was another action game for the Apple II. Wow. Still not going to give it as hard as the original Defender on the arcade, though. All right, going it again. I want to see if we can do an actual rescue, but it looks like these guys aren't going to do it. Or they'll be dropped too fast. Let's see. There we go. Nope, he's not even going for him. You going for me? Nope. Oh, and that one spawned right on me. And we died. Love the explosion effect, though. That's awesome. And the Starfield background's really nice. One of the biggest games we saw by Nasir Gabelli on the Apple II was Phantom Spy, which was a technical marvel to see. No, go get up. Oh, missed him again. But I can see myself in 1981 wanting to play more of this because of how well it's presented and get better at the controls. All right, trying it again. Can we rescue? Yes! I guess that counted. Even though I felt like I just went right by him, and I guess I gently placed him down on the ground afterwards. We'll call it a win. Nice. For 1981, this is pretty cool. Now, this one's going to be a tricky one because of... After playing the Eliminator and the Escape from Arcturus, which were the two most recent action games for the Apple II, the joystick, or using the Apple joystick, is a big plus rather than using the keyboard. So, if I could, I'd give it about the same rating as the other action games we've seen, which is above average. The keyboard control does slide it a little bit. And so for Eliminator, that joystick control did help a lot. I do like the Starfield and the graphics, how it plays. Sound effects are good. Explosion of how it plays is good. So I'm almost going to give it the same, which is a great game to play at the Apple II for the time. 4 stars. It's really close. I'm on the fence about it. I was using spacebar. Spacebar was the shoot for that one. Oh, there's also a key to shoot up. Hold on. Going back. Wait, there's supposed to be 2 shots? We didn't have the manual, so it didn't explain. So we're supposed to be able to shoot 2 different ways? I only saw firing forwards instead of vertical. Let's see, just in case. We'll mash some more keys and see if we can fire vertical as well. I'm so used to using an Apple... No, A and Z is what moves us up and down, and spacebar is to fire forward. So let's see, trying different ones. That's pretty cool. I just pushed C, and now we went into a totally new place, and like warped into outer space. Yeah, you dodge saddle gate. There you go. So you don't shoot them. I gotcha. So there is another one. So again, checking that out, it was Z or V. Let's see. CVDSX. No. There we go. Yep. So it does work where you can fly into space and dodge the satellites. That's pretty cool. So it's not just the shooter. This is about just moving around without hitting anything. And the controls are different. They switched them up. I'm not moving the same way as I did before either. That's cool. Doesn't let me go any further to right, but I guess you just hang on and you dodge as long as you can before before you get blown up. Nice. Okay, so you just after you finish that, then you refuel. So no other shot, but that's pretty cool to see too. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, so that was Gorgon. So for the time, I'm still going to give it, compared to the other action games, it's up there. I'd slide it for the keyboard control only and not the Apple joystick, but still 4 stars. It is above average, an excellent game for the Apple II. All right, that was Gorgon. Wow, amazing. And with that, we've reached time for the end of the evening. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to put pause on playing every single video game and continue with more games from 1981 next time. Who knows what will be next? Will it be an adventure game, a shooter, another arcade game, console game, handheld game? I don't know, but we're going to have a blast then. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without RetroArch and Launchbox. Please tell your friends there's some crazy guy out there trying to play every single video game. You can always check out Chronologically Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We will catch you next time.